My name is Venice Farmer, popular known as Girly. I'm a member of the Troy community and I also serve on the Troy Primary School PTA body as the VP. Okay, reopening of the Troy Manchester Bridge. That's a great initiative for us because as a single mom, as a son who attend Monroe, and I can recall early last year in the month of May, I was at the market and my son was like just over there where you see that silver car is, and then there was the rain and the bridge overflows, and he said, "Mommy, me the right a bridge." He's like, "Oh, you go come over," and believe me, I had to pay $2,000. Remember, it's right there and we are around there, and I have to pay $2,000 for him across there to just get over here. So it is our pockets, and we have lost students from the Troy High. Likewise, the Troy Primary, we have lost teachers who has to take other alternative because of the bridge, and now we are glad for this reopening, and it means a lot to us. We are so grateful, we are really thankful, and we have been waiting for this 5 years. Oh my God, we are overwhelmed for this bridge now. It's full time now.
Mikhail, we do not forget the rural people. I am a country MP too. And the government will be doing a lot of work in these two parishes. I am just going to announce one of the works that we're doing, but there are more to come. We will be doing major road infrastructure upgrading, not patching, on the Troy to Warsaw Road at the value of $280 million under the Spark Main Road program for the people of Troy and the people of Manchester and Trelawny. And that's not it alone. We will be making further announcements about road infrastructure projects in these constituencies and these parishes over the next several weeks. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and congratulations on your new bridge.
The Prime Minister has conceded that there were avoidable delays in replacing the collapsed Troy Bridge, which connects the parishes of Trelawny and Manchester. Our reporter Krista Campbell has been following that story and now reports.
$231 million to get from buckets and boards to a brand new bridge in Troy on the border of Manchester and Trelawny. But at Friday's official opening, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness conceded that bureaucratic red tapes caused the construction to take longer than residents especially wanted.
The requirements that is imposed upon the infrastructure projects sometimes cost more than the actual infrastructure construction. Don't make sense. The time it takes to do study on top of study on top of study sometimes take longer than the actual construction work itself. It would have cost us at least 30% less if we had built this bridge 4 years ago.
And so he stressed that reform is necessary to allow critical and major infrastructural projects to get done faster. He says that's why the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority NARA bill was developed and recently passed in Parliament.
What took a year to build in 1896 has taken almost 5 years to rebuild in 2026. A tropical storm brought the 125-year-old Troy Bridge to its knees in 2021, and the cut of a ribbon signaled the dawn of a new era for the structure now standing in its place.
When a bridge remains closed for years, there is a cost. When a farmer must travel farther to market, there is a cost. When a student spends additional hours commuting, there is a cost. When a business incurs higher transportation expenses, it costs you. When an ambulance or emergency vehicle faces delay, there could be a cost. It could be your life.
And there have been several near misses and accidents as residents, including children, risked their lives to cross from one side of the collapsed bridge to the other. Minister responsible for roadworks, Robert Morgan, has stressed the new bridge is built to last.
When we signed the contract, we had Beryl. When we started building, we had Raphael. And just as we finished building the bridge, it was tested by Melissa. Prime Minister, the two sides of the bridge were...
We gather to celebrate the opening of a bridge, but in truth, we are celebrating something much greater than a bridge. We are celebrating reconnection. We are celebrating resilience. We are celebrating the triumph of persistence over delay. For the people of this area, the Troy Bridge is not simply a physical structure. It is part of the history of this community and part of the story of Jamaica itself. The original bridge was built in 1869. Pause for a moment and consider what that means. It could mean that your great-great-great-grandparent would have walked across that bridge when it was just built, or maybe even helped to build it. This bridge stood before the arrival of motor vehicles in Jamaica. So this bridge was built to carry donkey cart. But for 152 years, and in the last 60 of those 152 years, it would have carried some heavy-duty trucks. It stood before electricity reached here. It stood through generations of change, connecting families, farmers, merchants, churches, schools, communities, right across the parishes of Manchester and Trelawny. But I want you to consider that this bridge was constructed after a pivotal point in Jamaica's history, a point which some of you may know about by virtue of the limited exposure you would have to this event in your school curriculum, the Morant Bay Rebellion. How many people know of the Morant Bay Rebellion? It is why we celebrate the national heroes, Paul Bogle and George William Gordon. We don't know, many of us, what really happened there. We know there was a rebellion. Over 300 Jamaicans were killed. Estates were burnt. It was a massive rebellion. But what it did was to spark a renewed interest on how Jamaica was governed by the British colonial power. After the rebellion, the then Governor Eyre, was recalled, and indeed he was tried in the United Kingdom. A new governor was sent to Jamaica. In fact, there was a royal commission to study why there was the rebellion. And the commission found many things. It's not my time today to present on what the commission found. But what it did find
Today is a big day in Troy.
Yeah, we get a new bridge in Troy and both of us work on the bridge.
I like how the Prime Minister deal with the thing, the bridge look nice and everything, you know. I like how I work.
Now this bridge, this packed down about 3 years.
Before the bridge come, it it's graceful.
Long time we've been waiting to see it because some of our friends and relatives down there, it's a problem to go straight around and then to come down again.
It's a little rough because we never have nothing could have moved down to move up and down, you know. Yeah, because you're going to slow up everything, you know. I'm glad that it's going on now.
Thank God for see how it look now, you know.
Oh God, it's grateful for the community. Everybody feels joyful about it.
Thank you to everybody.
I'm grateful about it, and I'm thanking my Prime Minister for the great work we are doing.
Thanks to the bridge.
This is the new Troy Bridge. After several years of waiting, the people of Troy, the people of Manchester and the people of Trelawny finally have their new bridge, connecting their communities, helping children go to school, assisting emergency services, improving the quality of life for the people of these communities. We are about building up Jamaica. We're about building your infrastructure efficiently and with resilience. This bridge will, like the previous bridge, last over 150 years. And your government is proud to have worked on your behalf to give you this new piece of infrastructure.
Trelawny alone. Remember us in deep rural Jamaica whenever you're crafting that road program. Because we want some of it too. But I will not make the roads take away from the greater issue that today we are officially opening the Troy Bridge, which has now connected the two constituencies together and connecting residents from where we once came from. So, Prime Minister, I want to, again, on behalf of my constituents, to say thank you to yourself and your administration for ensuring that a promise that was made, a promise kept, and now we're here in officially opening the Troy Bridge. May God continue to bless you. Thank you.
What I feel about this bridge is a wonderful, good for all of us in both Manchester and Trelawny, because sometimes we are going to Balaclava, we have to go right round Mile Gully to go right down. Now I'm going to Balaclava tomorrow and easy access to Balaclava.
Very excited about the bridge and glad for its completion so we can move back and forth. St. Elizabeth down that side.
People can go through easily with their products to the farm to sell. We can attend the river, the nice river down there easily. Yeah, it's very good and I really appreciate it, honestly.
Yeah, man, we appreciate what happened, man. For the first time we have to go way around Mandeville side. We're struggling to do it like that way. More time little kids them can't get to go across the local bridge, end up on the side here. More time rain come over, then can't go over. So we appreciate him, man, and thanks to the Prime Minister, you know. One love.
Happy that the bridge is now open so that Troy, Warsaw people will now have access to the Manchester side. They can go now to Noisy River and Balaclava and all those places.
Now this bridge around, everybody is okay. Thanks the Prime Minister for doing this bridge. Thanks the Member of Parliament. Thanks everybody who work on this bridge. And this bridge is a good success for both Manchester and Trelawny.
I can't complain, you know, because ultimately it is the government that makes the law. And I want everybody to appreciate that the government can change the law as well. It has gone to the point where it appears as Jamaicans we are afraid of success. We have allowed a certain school of thought to paralyze us. When the colonial government decided after 1865 that they were going to build this bridge, they said, build the bridge. And with the bridge, the road, the irrigation, all of it was done. We as independent people, we can't figure out how to build the bridge and still be accountable and transparent at the same time. Our bureaucracy must change. The system we have is quite effective at measuring the cost of building, but it is not effective at measuring the cost of not building quickly enough. It would have cost us at least 30% less if we had built this bridge 4 years ago. The purpose of a process is to produce a result. Unfortunately, many of our bureaucrats and technocrats and some of our politicians and many in the civil society who criticize the work of government believe that the end of a process is another process. And it has no regard for the suffering that you feel. The people who critique the government trying to move fast will never come here and hear your complaints. In fact, have you ever seen any one of them? When the process itself becomes an obstacle to result, then responsible leaders have an obligation to improve the process. The objective is not to choose between accountability and efficiency. The objective is to achieve both. That is where this government is pushing towards, achieving both accountability and efficiency. The objective is not to weaken safeguards. The objective is to make our safeguards smarter. It would have been a much smarter application of the public investment appraisal system if it was understood. A bridge was there before. The bridge was being used. The bridge supported an economy. No need to go back and do another test, another consultant. That is a smarter way of applying the rules. But when bureaucracies become self-serving, the objective is not to remove scrutiny. The objective is to ensure that scrutiny does not become paralysis. This bridge teaches us that good governance must mean more than following procedures. Good governance must also mean delivering outcomes. A modern state must be capable of asking the necessary questions without endlessly delaying the necessary answer. And this requires us to have a more mature national conversation. Let me just say a few words quickly about NAR because there are a lot of misconceptions, deliberate misconceptions to choke out NAR. The assumption that somehow the government is trying to create a project that is lacking oversight. Listen, the greatest risk to the government would be for anything untoward to happen under NAR. It is not in the interest of the government to create weak oversight for NAR. It's not in our interest. And even if it were in our interest, I wouldn't do it. Secondly, the other great threat to NARA would be for it to become mired in overbearing bureaucracy. And therefore, we knew there would be a battle because there are some people who are quite aware that if NARA is successful, it would be a great thing for the country. Let me leave it at that. So we knew that there would be those who would contrive to somehow color it bad before it has even started. NARA is an executing agent. That's what it is. I don't want it to become involved in all the self-serving activities of the public works. All it will be doing is, first of all, developing a register of projects that meet the criteria for reconstruction, resilience building, coordination of economic activities. So if NAR is doing an infrastructure project. There was a housing project laying down somewhere in a municipal authority somewhere, or some developer had this project and just wasn't doing it. Then if we're building the infrastructure, if we're putting in the road and bringing in the water and so forth, and right beside it there are lands there that could be developed, then why not bring them in, crowd them in at the same time? If a private individual had a project that fit the resilience, the reconstruction, the economic criteria, bring them in, put them on a fast track, point them in the right direction, coordinate with the infrastructure. That gives you the economic synergy. That's the idea. So that's the first thing that they will be doing, and that's going to be pretty intensive in, first of all, going around the country, explaining the projects that the government will be doing, getting public feedback, giving the public information, and there will be a kind of investor roadshow. We have set the bar to be 15 million US dollars, which is about, what, a billion Jamaican dollars, somewhere there about, of investment. If you come on board with that, we can move you forward, and let's move together in a coordinated way. That's the idea. So this notion about lack of transparency and nobody will be consulted, why start there? Why take a negative view as if we want the thing to fail before it has even started? I mean, there's nothing wrong with being constructively critical, but there's everything wrong with being deceptively critical. So the project can't be successful without consultation. I mean, we'd be setting up a roadblock for ourselves. We said we're going to do this, and we just went ahead, and then people started to block the road and demonstrate and say you didn't come to us. We know this. So there has to be a process of moving around, consulting the communities. And by the way, when you get on the ground, all of what you hear circulating, the people on the ground, no business with that. They want to know, you came to me, you tell me when my road is going to be built, when my house is going to be relocated, when this is going to be happening. People want results. And that's where my focus is. Results.
Good afternoon. I'm live from Troy Bridge, where the Troy Bridge is being restored up in the hills of northwestern Manchester. We are very pleased with what has started, and we are optimistic that the children and the community will be able to get the use of this bridge in a short while. I also want to say congratulations to the JLP government, the government of our country, for ensuring that they have fulfilled the commitment to ensuring that this bridge starts, which serves hundreds of citizens, hundreds of children who have to use this bridge to access school, or who need this bridge to access school, and for citizens who need this bridge to access work, market, access supermarket. So we are grateful for what has started today, and we want to say to all that are involved, continue the good work as quickly and as safely as you possibly can, so that this bridge can be ready for usage by the community in short order. Thank you very much.
Our experience with the bridge, it's hectic where the rain is falling because we cannot cross. This little system that they set up here, it kind of work for us, you know, so we can hold the younger one them and we can cross them, where the elders they go cross, who can manage to go cross by themselves. Yeah, but it's really dangerous because I can see not everybody can swim. We are really glad for the bridge, you know. Who have to go to work can go to work early, you know what I mean? You wouldn't have to roll up your pants, you have to take off your foot for walking in the mud, you know what I mean? Because you don't know, we can drive cross, we can ride past, we can walk with a donkey, we can kick across a cow, or goat, them everybody, you know? Yeah, it would be a great, wonderful task.
The newly opened Troy Bridge on the border of Manchester and Trelawny is a relief for businesses and residents alike. Krista Campbell was in Troy for Friday's official opening of the new bridge and spoke to persons already looking ahead to rebuilding the lives they enjoyed before the bridge collapsed.
From schools to shops, farms and households, residents from Trelawny and Manchester had their lives upended when the 125-year-old Troy Bridge collapsed during the passage of Tropical Storm Grace in 2021.
Because we had students who live on this side who went to Troy, who had to be relocated to other schools. I mean, I never lose my life crossing the bridge one day. Fell crossing the bridge. We had teachers who teach at Troy, who live over on the Manchester side, who had to relocate, leaving their residence over on that side, renting houses on this side.
So it was a big stressor pertaining to being the very beginning of wondering if I can cross. At one point you come there, I cannot cross. You literally have to go back around and we would have lost experience in more than 40 Thank God today we all can celebrate.
Celebrate because of the opening of a new bridge that's expected to last 150 years.
We look forward to getting more students from the Oxford, St. Elizabeth area as they used to in the past.
Now, when the bridge collapsed, so too did many businesses.
It's a 2-minute drive from the newly built Troy Bridge to where I'm standing in Cowick Park, Manchester. Behind me in the distance is a farmhouse damaged by Hurricane Melissa, causing the farmer who owns it to relocate to Mandeville. With the bridge now reopened, Orlando White says he plans to return to his farm.
Normally I would just come through the Christiana area, which was much easier to come to Troy or Cowick Park, but I had to now travel through Nile Gully, which was more deplorable and also cost more.
I have a spring there that I was bottling water from, and even the Bureau of Standard would have known about the Oxford spring water. I was unable also to continue the bottling of spring water.
But the opening of a new Troy Bridge now has released a spring of renewed hope, not only for Mr. White.
Even while coming here, I saw a tour bus going down, heading to Appleton, driving this route. So it is an important connection between north and south.
I am looking for the tourists to come and purchase my bottled water and my coconuts. But presently I have no coconut now. So I hope to get some help from the Coconut Board if they can, and also from RADA.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
It's been a long wait for the people of Troy and surrounding communities, but through the engineering of the government, through the National Works Agency and the contractor, we now have a brand new
Troy Bridge for the people of Manchester and Trelawny.
We are at what? Troy Bridge.
Yes, sir.
So this side of the pond is Manchester, and that side over there is Trelawny. So this is like literally meters away. And this is what? This is the mode of transportation.
Yeah.
It's a risky thing. Wow. So how you operate this thing? So somebody stay over this side and pull. So if you go over Trelawny side, somebody over that side pull the rope.
Pull the crab.
And if you're over this side, somebody over this side and pull. Wow. A makeshift what you call this? Zip line?
Zip line.
Wow. What can I say? You see it for yourself. I am not easily scared, but I'm scared. This is it. Troy Bridge. Wow. And there's a tire strong enough, sir? We're not going to bust. Wow. I feel so without safe a tight on the post over time, cause trust me.
You can't put it on JPS.
On the JPS thing them. Oh crap. Next Warriors. Wow. What a thing, eh?
Set away, man.
Oh, about 2 years this broke down now?
1 year.
1 year. 1 year, some months. Wow. Alright people, there you have it. Troy Bridge. As it is now, people on this side have to go all the way around through Mile Gully to come back. So if you want to link your auntie over that side, other than using this mode of transportation, you have to go all the way around. It is maybe about an hour, 2 hours, less than 2 hours.
Maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, around about 2 hours round the road. Otherwise, you have to just work it out. You have a zip line or something, or a fly or something. So you have persons who chance it cross the waters when it's low.
Yeah, man, when it's low now we walk.
You chance it cross the waters.
When the river up now we have to take
you have to go take the zip, yeah. So those ropes we tie onto this, a white one?
Yes, the balance is on the wood and they walk.
Oh, okay, so you literally, okay. Whoa, so I never even noticed that. So all of those ropes down there so is for hold on to. Wait, I'm gonna do this for the camera, yeah? Hold on, may I come to you? I'm going to do this for the camera differently. Alright people, there you have it.
Update on the Troy Bridge.
To ensure that it is repaired. And I've seen the situation regarding the Troy Bridge. And I'm following it. I've been briefed that the designs are complete. My understanding is that they're about to go to procurement soon. So, you know, it's not a situation of which we are proud. And I must, I mean, I saw your outburst. I saw the representation made by our speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish to say that the government of Jamaica takes the situation very seriously, and it is not our intention for the people to believe that their plight is not considered as serious. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I am going to be personally visiting Troy. I will make the arrangements, and we have been moving to fast track the arrangements to ensure that the bridge is in place.
Mr. and Holness. We are coming from school, Troy High in Trelawny. Look what we have to cross. Look, no bridge, all cow in our water, cow Joan from bank side. Look there. Look on the bridge, capture every bridge over there. So. Look, we have to risk with life. Risk life, forget education. Look on bridge over the cross. Look.
I do want to talk about my hello, the need to do something.
Mr. Andrew, what is that? If you see this, I don't need to come. Come look on the bridge. Look on the condition we have to go through every day. You see all that hurricane season now, Mr. Andrew, we can't take it no more. Bridge, we say bridge.
This is what the school children do. The residents of the ward.
We're here, I'm doing a tour with MP Michael Phillips of Northwest, and also we'll be visiting Northeast Manchester today. This is part of just going around the country and seeing what's going on, hearing from the people and meeting and greeting the people. We're here at Troy Bridge, which, as you know, has been down for I think 2 years or thereabouts, and MP Michael Phillips has been a strong advocate for the reconstruction of a bridge, because the residents on both sides of this river, it's Hector's River, are dependent on a bridge in order to go to school or indeed go to their workplaces. And what is there right now is a makeshift device made out of bamboo, fairly precarious, which only somebody courageous and agile would really venture across. But for elderly people and little children, it would be very dangerous for them to try it. And we have a makeshift pulley system to carry, physical items across. Obviously not of any great weight, but that is what the residents have had to, turn them hand and make fashion, so to speak, to try and survive this situation. So we've been tracking the issue. Michael has been advocating hard for it in Parliament and outside, and he was just giving an update of the latest with the procurement issues, and apparently it's now at the stage where they're still trying to decide whether or not it's an emergency situation. But it clearly is something which needs to be addressed very quickly, because this is a vital route for the people living here in Northwest on the border with South Trelawny, is it? Yeah, South Trelawny. So this can't wait any longer, and I use this opportunity just to call on the government to prioritize this bridge and get it done.
The good people of Jamaica, honestly speaking, I do appreciate the fact that you really do support this amazing channel. I don't take it for granted in any way. So our video, we are going to discuss the Troy Bridge that was just completed recently. It has already been launched, and I can tell you this particular bridge, the Troy Bridge, it does have a lot of history, from the sad ones, and now we have a happy moments, after so many months and years of waiting. Anyway, for so many years, there is this particular bridge in Jamaica that has always stood out as a daily reminder of a struggle for the people of Manchester and Trelawny in Jamaica. That is the Troy Bridge. This bridge connected communities around there. Imagine you live in Manchester and then, or probably you work in the other side of Trelawny. And now we have this bridge that its story, we are going to come into it now, so that you may be able to understand. So this bridge, it carried families, workers, students, farmers, and businesses across the entire, across these two communities. But unfortunately, a time came in when there was too much rain with too much force, and the bridge collapsed at 125 years. Okay, the bridge was 125 years old by the time it was collapsing. I can honestly tell you this changed the life of these communities permanently and completely. No, not permanently. It changed the life completely, but temporarily, because now there is a good solution and a permanent solution. So, by then it was a normal journey, and later on it became a challenge, too much challenge, that I know you have already seen the clips here that I've attached of how the two communities used to cross when they want to go to the other side. Because remember that in some instances there were pupils or children that lived here and studied across. And probably you live here, there is a shop that you want to go and buy some items across. So I can tell you that, these particular residents, they had to find out an option. They had to find out an option of, getting into the other side. And these routes or options that they found was much longer than if they could have used the Troy Bridge. So as much as, remember, when a route becomes longer, it also becomes expensive. Anyway, for many residents of Trelawny in Manchester, this situation, it made them to be really frustrated and stressful, because you see, the collapse of Troy Bridge was not just about the concrete and the steel. It was about the people's daily life, in fact, because people had to cross in order to do the activities on the other side, and vice versa. So it wasn't the collapse of this particular concrete and steel only. It was also about getting to work on time, and children getting to school on time, and safe, farmers moving their produce from location A to location B, families visiting each other. And I can tell you, a simple trip became a major problem suddenly and without even expectations. So for many years, the residents of Trelawny and Manchester, they watched and waited and begged the government and spoke out. And we have also seen students that came out and talked to the Prime Minister, Sir Andrew Holness, about the same issue. That, by this time that they were recording this particular clip, they were actually waiting for the rains to stop. The rain had actually come down like too much, and they have to use this zip line to go to the next. And now they fear that, probably it could slip, and the water was in too much force, and that is how it is. So this Troy Bridge, it actually connected to communities. That would mean it was at the border also. Manchester, Trelawny. That's how these things were like. So guys, I don't know what you really think about that particular issue of Manchester and Trelawny. I don't know what you think about that. Probably if you have been following up on this story, you could let us know, and we will really appreciate your comments. So for many years, the residents of Manchester and Trelawny, they have always asked so many questions about why is it that the government cannot even put aside an emergency fund and help them construct a good bridge with a good road, like they have done now, because it has taken them so many years and for them to do this. And when they started even doing it, they did it slowly, on which we can actually understand because of the budget issues. So they had always wanted answers, they had always wanted action, and they wanted a safer connection, a safer road, because a bridge is not just a structure as you may think. A bridge brings people together. It keeps communities connected. And when that connection disappears, I can tell you, everyone and everything will feel it, So the old Troy Bridge had become a major concern. And sooner than later, people became worried about their safety, by the way, because guys, I don't know if you saw the clip whereby there were children that were crossing this bridge, and they were holding on to sticks around that had been interconnected from the other side to this other side. And you could really imagine, what if one of these particular stick broke, So the residents there, they have been worried about what could happen during an emergency. Suppose you are at home and then you have a medical emergency and you need to rush, and it is raining heavily. How could you have done that? And probably the hospital is in the other community. Oh my God! Or the services that you need. It was just really sad. So the people there, they really weren't happy at all, because at the end of the day, this was their reality. I mean, every single day they had to face this. But now I can tell you that this story has changed. The sad and the frustrating story, it has completely and permanently changed. And now they are starting a new chapter, because the new Troy Bridge has been completed and it has already been launched, and they were really, really happy. I can tell you the reaction from the good people of Trelawny and Manchester. I mean, they were filled with excitement and relief and joy, and they're actually celebrating because you see, many of them are saying that this is the moment that you've been waiting for. What else will you understand from that statement except a sign of relief? You know, because I mean, this is a moment that brings back easier travels, that restores confidence about their security, a moment that shows the progress that the JLP is doing. Guys, imagine living in these particular places for so many years, knowing that, you know, a major route that you depend on is no longer reliable. Imagine living that kind of a situation. Then suddenly you see like beautiful and good road that, you know, you are not even scared of passing with a big lorry, you know, a strong one, a modern one, something that is big, that is ready to serve the entire island. I mean, this is just more than an opening ceremony that I saw, you know, because it is going to return. The life is going to return to normal, by the way. And now the farmers that had been severely affected, they're going to move their produce very easily. Businesses are going to operate with very few disruptions. Families, friends, they will travel without the same worries that they had before. Like, what if I go to the other side and it rains? How am I gonna come back? And probably I've left small children homes at home. Anyway, these communities, oh my God, they feel so happy. Finally, they are connected again. They can even have friendly matches in schools and all that. So, and also parents are no longer going to fear sending their children to probably a shop or school or just anywhere. Anyway, I know many Jamaicans have watched this story, and of course, they are asking some few questions like, why is it that bridges and roads matter so much? But I mean, why is it that with the fact that bridges and roads, they do matter so much to everyone, but it takes so much time to be done and completed, you know, because, you know, such things, they should have been allocated enough funds so that it can be done within a period of 3 months. Let me pick this call, my good people. So we were talking about infrastructure is a very important tool and something that is actually very important because, you know, infrastructure most of the time it affects like many things. It affects the economy, education, healthcare, and the life that we live every day. So if there is a good road, there is a good bridge, then that creates more and more opportunities, and it makes our communities to be stronger and stronger. In this case of the Troy Bridge, it's actually reminding us that when infrastructure fails, then the ordinary people will actually carry the burden, not the not the rich ones, you know. But again, when infrastructure is good, it helps improve the life of the ordinary people. So many people in Jamaica are now looking at the new bridge with pride, not just the people of Trelawny and Manchester. You know, when they see this particular bridge now, they remember the difficulties that they have been going through and the inconveniences that it caused, the uncertainty, and today they are looking forward to a better future, better life, and better everything. And you know, just having this thinking of what next, what will happen next. So as you can actually see from a point of view, this bridge represents more than a crossing. It represents the patience that the two communities have been having for so long. It represents the resilience that the Prime Minister himself talked about. It represents the strength of the two communities that continued moving forward, and life went on despite this challenge. And while many people are celebrating, there are also some concerns that are being raised. For instance, will the bridge receive a proper maintenance? that is a very, very good concern, and it's valid. Another concern, if this particular bridge will continue serving the residents for so many years, like the other one had served the community for like 125 years. But honestly speaking, guys, from the look of this bridge, it's very strong. It's of a very good quality. It's not something that you can say that it's going to come down anytime soon. No, it's very, very strong. So we are learning so much from this particular incident and our story of the Troy Bridge, you know, because when you build something and you do it like in a very good way, and you also maintain it, I can tell you that it's gonna stay for so long. To the people of Manchester and Trelawny, they have waited so much. They have experienced their frustrations one-on-one, but now they have finally are in a position to be relieved, and I mean them having a sign of relief, and with the fact that they have a bridge that they can now depend on, a bridge that brings up to them, a bridge that brings convenience and brings people closer again. So this story is not just about the structure, it's about the people who needed it the most, the people who waited for it, and the people who are now celebrating it to the core. You know, Jamaica has seen many infrastructure projects, but some projects touch people's lives in a very special way, like this one, the Troy Bridge. And you know, this one is one of those that touches people's lives in a very special way, because as you can see, sometimes a bridge is not just a bridge, it's a symbol that after a difficult times, then a better days get to come. And for the residents of Manchester and Trelawny, you know, some few days was a celebration, and you know, a day to remember that the Troy Bridge, a better Troy Bridge is back like never before. So, and that the community is going to move forward like very, very soon. So guys, I don't know what you think about that particular bridge in between the border of Trelawny and Manchester. I can tell you, I really felt good, because guys, I know you are also going to feel good about it, because I have also attached clips from before, after, so that you may be in a position to understand everything, my good people. Personally, when I see things like this, I'm very happy, I'm very humbled. As much as it took so much time, which shouldn't have been the case, we are happy that at last we have we have a good bridge, we have a new bridge, and the people of Manchester and Trelawny, they're no longer going to suffer, they're no longer going to incur like extra expenses in order for them to get from point A to point B, you know. And to those that were involved, to those that kept us to the toe, following up on this story, to those that have come out and said something good about this, I mean, super amazing. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.